Congressman Lloyd Doggett is a Democratic congressman from the state of Texas. Congressman, thanks so much for taking the time.
Good to join you, Jim.
So first question, J.D. Vance says, hey, just fund the government now and we'll talk about health care later. Would you trust Republicans to follow through on that?
That's really one of the biggest problems we have. We have a totally untrustworthy president. His messenger, Mr. Vance, the same. Their approach to negotiations is give us everything we want and we'll let you beg for whatever you want later. That won't work. I view this as a life and death issue. The University of Pennsylvania has said that up to 51,000 Americans could lose their lives each year as a result of the cutbacks that the Trump administration has made in health care. We think this issue is essential, and the Republicans control every aspect of our government. We're simply saying you control the shutdown, and if you want to end it, sit down and talk with us, and let's find some common ground.
Republicans have claimed that this is health care for illegal aliens. We fact-checked that as false. But Republicans do make a point that stands up, which is that these premiums were expanded back in 2021 during the COVID pandemic. And of course, the pandemic is over now. So they make the argument that they don't need to be as high today as they were then. What's your response to that?
Well, I think it is subject to negotiation as to exactly how these credits are handled. But I can tell you that the families across America and in my hometown of Austin who will get these notices within just a few days, premiums spiking perhaps as much as 75%, they don't think that there's a problem here with providing some relief to them. And that's what we're trying to do. I know that the dangers of people losing their lives from not having access to health care from my work on the health subcommittee. We just can't let that happen. We've been asking Republicans to deal with this all year long. They have refused to do so. Hopefully now with the shutdown finally occurring, they will come to their senses and join us in trying to find a common sense solution.
Do you believe that this is part of a longer term effort by the GOP to straight up end Obamacare?
Well, you know, as you well know from your reporting through the years, Jim, they tried to do that over 60 times to repeal it. This is a way not only with the cutting of the tax credits, but other things they have done to sabotage Obamacare that they do seem to be having the same goal, to never abandon it. And I think the American people have made it very clear through the years as more and more have turned to the marketplaces to give them access to a family physician and vital medications that they like this program. And so they're speaking out to their member, Republican and Democrat, can help us end the shutdown and get the relief that we need. I will add, though, that as important as this is and as big as the shutdown is in concern of everyone, I don't think it's the most important event that necessarily happened yesterday. I am greatly troubled by President Trump declaring to 800 officials in our military from all over the globe that they need to focus on the enemy within and that he would use military forces against American citizens to accomplish his objectives.
I wonder how far you believe the president was defining that enemy within, because oftentimes he will describe it purely as invading immigrants, right, migrants, or a crime issue. But do you believe he was at least opening the door to criminalizing his opposition?
That's exactly what he's doing. The military was not needed, and local officials said, don't send them in Los Angeles, in the District of Columbia, in Memphis, in Chicago. He is trying, in Portland, he is trying to normalize and make us accept the use of the military, always waiving this immigrant issue. And as you know and pointed out in your fact check, that's a phony argument on the shutdown and on healthcare. It's also a phony argument for him sending out the military. Yeah. He wants, as he said to his former chief of staff, he wants his military to be more like Hitler's. And the kind of military that he wants is one that's pledged to him, not to the Constitution, which is what our officials take their oath to. I am concerned that bit by bit he is eroding democracy and seeking the kind of government that Hungary with Orban or Erdogan, who was in capital recently from Turkey, he wants that kind of authoritarian government. and Americans have to stand up and reject it. One way to do that is with what we're doing to protect their health care, and another is their involvement in next year's election to give us a check on this president who wants unlimited power and has a Republican majority that seems willing to let him do whatever he pleases.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, for folks who may not be aware, some of Trump's own former advisors say that he complained that Trump's generals, rather that Hitler's generals were more loyal to him than Trump's quote-unquote generals were to Trump himself. I wonder, given you're in the state of Texas, where the GOP-run state legislature is redrawing the districts there, and this is a national plan, and with White House direction to do so in a number of red states. What is that going to mean for the Democratic Party, in your view, in the midterms? Are enough Democrats going to be redistricted out of their seats so that, in effect, you can't win the midterms?
You know, I think most people don't realize that the midterms have already begun because Trump is determined to sabotage them and assure that people don't have the choices they think they have in this election. It's one of a number of things he's doing, like asking to see voting machines and establishing a national voter roll that he can follow. All of these things designed to undermine our efforts to get the extra 3 votes we need to have a check on him and raise that number to 10 or 13. We're seeing this happen in Kansas, in Ohio, in Indiana. It's happened in Missouri and Texas already. I think we can overcome it, but we have to overcome it by winning some of these districts that were designed by Trump for Trump in Texas, and to pass the referendum in California so that there's at least some balance and some opportunity to get some additional Democrats to counter all these Republicans that are being foisted off on the country. Ultimately, I think Americans will recognize that to preserve our democracy, to address the kitchen table type issues, the soaring prices that have occurred under Trump for just about everything with his tariff taxes and his other suppression of freedom, they will respond, and we will elect the Democratic House and preserve our democracy and push back against Trump's drive for authoritarianism.
We'll be watching.